find out which adaptation helps belugas survive in the cold Arctic environment. Now, of course, belugas do not have a thick fur coat like polar bears do. What do they have on their bodies to keep them warm? Just shout it out. Blubber, you're right. We have a very smart crowd here today. They have a very thick layer of blubber or fat surrounding their body. Wow, what a great view of beluga blubber we got there. If you want to know how thick a beluga's blubber can be, take your hand and hold it up. Stretch out your thumb and your pinky finger. Then take your thumb, put it where your belly button is. That's how thick the blubber would be on your body if you were a beluga whale. Imagine trying to swim around with a mattress of blubber wrapped all around your body. This blubber is very important in keeping the belugas warm, but you will notice there are some areas of their bodies that do not have a thick layer of blubber on them. As the belugas move through the water, try and take a look at their side or pectoral flippers and also their tails. And you'll notice those areas do not have a layer of blubber on them. Here's a great view of Tika as she comes up the front. Maybe you can get a view of her side or pectoral flipper. You'll notice that these side flippers and their tail flukes, as we see Keela holding up her tail in the back, they're relatively small compared to other whales and dolphins. And that's because these areas are not covered by blubber. Heat can be easily lost. So by making these parts of their bodies smaller, it helps to conserve the heat that would be lost to the cold water that surrounds them. Because belugas have such large, heavy bodies and relatively small tails, they of course are not the most powerful swimmers compared to other whales and dolphins. You will not see the high leaps if you watched the dolphin show earlier, but they still do have a very powerful tail to push those heavy bodies through the water. So occasionally you may see the belugas doing some behaviors, pushing their bodies up out of the water, which we saw Nala doing right before the show. There's a beautiful demonstration there by Aurora of how high they can push their bodies out of the water. Wonderful. In the Arctic, the ocean is covered for quite a great deal of time by a thick layer of ice during the year. And this ice makes life as we know it in the Arctic possible. It provides a surface area for algae to grow on, and it provides hiding places for invertebrates, small fish, and even marine mammals. Belugas are very well adapted to living where there is this thick layer of ice, and you'll see why if you look at their backs as they swim through the water. Now, what is missing from a beluga's back that you see on other whales and dolphins? The fin, that's correct. They do not have a dorsal fin. It's not missing, just instead of a dorsal fin, they have something called a dorsal ridge. What a great view right here in front of a dorsal ridge on a beluga whale. Now, by having this particular adaptation, it allows them to travel underneath the ice very easily in their search for food. Another challenge faced by belugas comes in the wintertime when it is dark for up to 24 hours during the day. It's hard to see, so belugas live in a world of sound, and we have been hearing some interesting sounds here at the beluga habitat. Belugas sure can make a wide variety of sounds. They're very social animals, and they use a wide variety of clicks and chirps and grunts to communicate with other belugas. Can any of you make a good beluga sound? Let's try. Wow, we've got lots of belugas here today. Wonderful. I think Aurora agrees with you. Those sounds can be used for other reasons too, not just communication, but to find their way around, for navigation. Does anyone know what it's called when we use sound for navigation? Sonar, I heard. That's correct. In the animal kingdom, we call sonar echolocation. The belugas can produce sounds from their forehead region. They can produce clicks, and these clicking noises bounce off of objects such as ice or schools of fish. Look at that melon on Aurora. That's their forehead region. It's called the melon. You may see it wiggling, jiggling, and moving. They can actually use that melon to focus the clicking sounds and direct them. It's a great way for them to find food in the Arctic. Belugas are what's called opportunistic hunters. That means they'll eat just about anything they can find, whether it's squid, small fish, or even invertebrates such as clams and sea worms that hide under the sand at the bottom of the ocean floor. But how do belugas get at worms under the sand? Well, look closely at the front part of a beluga and you'll see they have special lips that help them to squirt water. Their lips are very flexible, unlike a dolphin or other whale. And this allows them to squirt a very powerful stream of water at the sand at the bottom of the ocean, uncovering fish and other worms and other good things to eat. We've had a wonderful opportunity with the trainers out here today in the beluga whales to learn about just how unique these whales are, and how well adapted they are to life in the Arctic. They are Canada's most abundant whale, but some of their populations are facing challenges, and some of these challenges have come about from climate change. As we talked about the ice that covers the Arctic for most of the year, belugas do rely on that ice as a source of food and a place to find hiding places and things to eat. So researchers unfortunately have discovered this area of ice is receding, it is diminishing. And why is that happening? Well, we think it's because just as belugas have a layer of blubber to keep them warm and comfortable, our Earth has a layer of gases and just the right combination in our atmosphere to keep the Earth warm and comfortable for us. But as we use fossil fuels, it can add carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, which can cause the Earth to warm and cause changes in many areas. And these changes are seen very much in Arctic areas. But the good news is you can help belugas and other animals that live in these Arctic areas by choices that you make every day. You can choose ways to reduce the fossil fuels and energy that you use in your home, perhaps by washing your clothes in cold water, or by taking the bus or using your bike if you can. All these changes will help us to help these animals in the Arctic so they can survive for many years to come. So those of you who are making those changes, we thank you and challenge you to see if you can find different ways to make changes in your home, in your school, or in your communities. So on behalf of myself, the trainers here, and the beluga whales, we'd like to thank you for coming out to our beluga show this afternoon, and we hope you have a wonderful day at the aquarium today. Thank you very much. Again, my name's Diana. If you'd like to watch the trainers out here for the next few minutes, that's fine. Just make sure they have room to work with them if they come on this side of the glass. If you do have any questions, please do feel free to come over and talk to me. I'd love to answer your questions. Thank you.